well, I say cable, internet. Hey, the beauty of living in California as it devolves into a third world country. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see me again. Now that time it was not my fault. I swear to you that was a Spectrum cable problem. But hopefully I'm back. If not, we're recording, so I'm just going to start talking again. I was answering Stanley's question, and the last time, hey, it's back, Bayard. How's it going? Um, I was answering Stanley's question when I was so rudely interrupted by Spectrum Cable. And what was Stanley's question? It was, what about these units right up here? I'm using them as holding forces. I do understand the temptation to get them out of here, and certainly that's valid. But I don't want the Japanese to have a free run from here at Taiping all the way down to Kuala Lumpur with nothing. I don't want them to get there in like 5 turns, which is about what it would probably take. Heck, they could probably even jump on the railway. So I'm leaving that as a kind of holding blocking force. Gosh, Stanley, let's hope that's San Andreas' fault. I think about that every time I drive into Santa Barbara. If you've never been to Santa Barbara, California, it's so beautiful. But they've got all those homes up on the hills, and it overlooks the water, and it's that beautiful bay, and it looks gorgeous. But I think, God, I would be nervous at all times that the big one was going to hit. And my house, well, actually, over by Santa Barbara a few years ago, they had a huge mudslide. Yeah, that was. Oh, yeah, 89, right? 1989, Stanley, San Francisco, World Series earthquake. I remember that. I was watching. Um, okay, so Stanley, perfectly valid. If you want to move those guys out of there, I'm just using them as kind of a slow down, delaying force. But, if you want to move those down, it makes all the sense in the world if you do, certainly. Kuala Lumpur, we've gone through that for the most part, right? What was this last one? This was also 3rd Indian Corps. It's a field regiment, artillery regiment. We'll turn their replacements on as well. And then I'm going to go back, probably do that offline, and look exactly what the TOE is for those units that I just turned replacements on for. And when I do that, I will then turn off the stockpiling for that stuff. So all the stuff that's in those infantry units for 3 Indian Corps, we'll go ahead and take a look at the production menu, turn the stockpile off. We've got replacements on for them now. And hopefully, to the extent they take losses, we can, get some of them replaced. We shall see. That's about it for Kuala Lumpur. There's no aircraft there. It's just those infantry units. They're all supposed to be there, so that's fine. We move on to Malacca. Malacca has 1 infantry unit. It is also part of 3rd Indian Corps. Well, you know what? I'm going to keep replacements off on that one because I really want the front line ones here at Kuala Lumpur. Did I turn the one on at Temala? Let's turn these on if I didn't. Oh, that's Malayan Army, though. Well, I guess we can turn everything on in the Malayan Army, right? Why not? And then this is 3rd Indian Corps. Okay, so we're going to turn replacements on everything we can. Let's do it with this unit. This is also 3rd Indian Corps. Excellent. Is this 3rd Indian Corps or Malaya? It's Malayan, but that's all right. Let's turn replacements on there. So Malayan squad, Vickers, mortars, support. All right. Just want to kind of get a flavor of what I need to let loose from the stockpile. Indian infantry, Vickers, 18-pounder gun. Wow. All right. Okay. Yeah, I'll go turn all the stockpiling off on that stuff and let it flow. So at Mersing, we've still got this Australian unit here that we had contemplated getting out. It's the 22nd Australian Brigade. I don't want to get all those Aussies mad at me again. Some people very adamant that I needed to get those Aussies out. We will if we can. We will if we can. Uh, that's warfare, right? You do what you can. You try what you must. So that I don't think that makes sense. Okay, well, I don't know the exact saying. We will do what we can. Um, I'm reading this comment from YGBSM. Yes, good comment. That is exactly true. You should never take them exactly at face value. That's very true, for sure. Um, Stanley says, "Get those Aussies out." I'm going to try, Stanley. I'm going to try. Yes, all numbers in this game, you take at face value. You kind of have to. Well, you don't have fog of war on your side, but as YGBSM said there, there's all kinds of different considerations for the actual effectiveness. So do keep that in mind for sure. Now, I don't often get down into the individual armaments. That may surprise some people that tune into this and say, oh, you know, you don't get down into the table of elements. I don't often. I do it for reasons like we just did, which is to look at what I have to turn stockpiling off on. But I don't often, I don't know, get that deep into the nitty gritty. This game's deep enough for me without going into every table of equipment and trying to figure out exactly the mishmash like that. I understand what you're saying, and you shouldn't take those at face value. You shouldn't say, oh, well, it's got 1,000 anti-aircraft. It's exactly 10 times better than one that has 100. That's all based on circumstances and what exactly the armaments are. Totally valid point. Mersing, okay. Should we get the Aussies out? Stanley says yes. We will try. Let's go down here and look and see what we can do. We've got this other Aussie unit here as well. This would be like kind of a coin flip. I don't know that I could get them both out. I mean, it's going to cost a ton of money. They're attached to the money. It's not going to cost, well, I don't know. It may have cost the War Department money. It's not going to cost me money, but it is going to cost political points. That would eat up all of our political points. So I'm not trying to put a political point value on Australian digital lives, Stanley, but I'm not sure if it's worth it. We'll see. We've got AA here. Oh, this is Johor Bahru, where we are right now. Again, kind of blocking forces that will eventually flow back to Singapore unless we decide to get them out. Now, we talked about this. This question came up last time about all of the planes, the squadrons that we have here at Singapore. What should go out? What should stay here? What are we doing? What's my name? Anyway, yeah, that I need to loosen the restrictions now. Oh, I'm talking about the moderation. I need to loosen the restrictions. Now, most of you I have added as, like preferred commenters. Um, because I know Bayard has a tendency to be eloquent. And so, anyway, I had put you all, and supposedly I use MooBot, which is a popular moderation for streams. I use that one. And so supposedly when I put you on the preferred list, it takes away a lot of those restrictions. Now, I don't want Stanley posting pinup girls on the chat, if that's even possible. Well, maybe I do. Go for it, Stanley. Let's see what happens. That being said, I supposedly it's supposed to lower the restriction. I'm going to go look at that today because we have a group here that I trust. I trust you. We've been in battle together now. I don't think you guys are going to get too crazy on the stream down there. I might. Some of you may just put too many little emoticons. I don't know. Hopefully not. Okay, what do we have here? We did bring this. Oh, we do have this transport in here now. Stanley, there's hope. There's hope. I brought this one up here. We need to get it out of here as fast as we can. We got a lot to think about here at Singapore. Well, that's fun. All right. Now, remember, my plan was to do all of this, do Borneo, do Java, and here we are deep into the stream, and I've just gotten to Johor Bahru. That's normal. That's normal. All right. All of this is fine, although we may put the Australians down in Singapore if we can get them out on a Dutch transport task force. That would truly be a kumbaya moment. All right, let's look at the air squadrons first. We have no ships in port, thank goodness. We don't want to have any ships in port. You see here we've got 108,000 fuel, 48,000 supply at Singapore. That all looks good. Everything's still cranking to Singapore that's in Malaya. That, you know, as the Japanese start to take it over, we will come under some supply pressure. The fuel we want to get rid of. We want the fuel out of here. We just have a difficulty getting ships in, or we will really start having a difficulty getting ships in because of Japanese bombing. But let's look at these squadrons. Well, look at that. One whole plane. All right. Now, this had split off, I believe, from... Where's its home squadron? It should follow it, and maybe it will do it at this turn resolution. I think these Buffalo fighters are ones that we sent south to... Where did we send them, though? Did we send them to Batavia? Yeah, I think we did. I think this is it. This is... Actually, I don't think that is the unit, or the squadron, sorry. Let's go back up there and look at this again. Before I do that, let's click on Oosthaven. Those are level bombers. This is a fighter squadron. Where did I put them? Did I put them in Palembang? Maybe? Maybe? Nope. I really must have gotten them out of here. Swerbuya? I much preferred it when I could call that Swerbaha and nobody had said anything for like 30 episodes. But I do believe it's Swerbuya. I don't know where the squadron is. I really don't want to take the time to go hunt for it. All right, this has got to be a follow-on squadron where he just got repaired and now he'll follow on. It's got to be. I don't know what else it could be. So we're just gonna think that it's gonna follow on. What do we have here? We have some more buffaloes, more Australians. There's 5. We have a max of 5. 224 group RAF. I tried for the most part to get the 223 RAF out, I believe. Here's some more buffaloes, same deal. 5 plane squadron. All looks good. They're all flying cap. That's what we want them to do. Now we've got a bigger buffalo squadron, 18 here. This is in 223 group. One of the reasons I brought the transport here was to get 223 group RAF out. I kind of flipped a coin whether I was going to take 223 or 224. I think we have more 224 planes here. And so I may just, you know, load 223 on and get all of the 223 planes out. Although, okay, so it's that one. This is a big squadron. It's the biggest one we've seen so far. Okay, I'll take that under advisement. Here's another 223. Now, this is where the question arose, because we do want fighters up in the air above Singapore, because we don't want the Japanese to just bomb the crap out of our ground units, so that there's really not a whole lot left of them by the time the Japanese get down here. Oh, good. Surabaya. Surabaya. This is like something out of a movie where I'm trying to take a foreign language class. Surabaya. Yeah, Sean, that's right. I did I did say I wanted to get the 224 out. I remember that. That was like five episodes ago. I think whenever we decided to send the transport up there, I said, well, do we take the 223? We take the 224. And we did settle on 224. I knew that not a lot sticks there, guys. So when it does, I'm going to trust my instincts. Yeah, Stan, I know. Can you imagine if we finished what is that going to be like episode 1632 and I'm still saying Swar Baja. It's the Baja, guys. Yeah, not exactly. Oh gosh. See, my I took 6 years of foreign language between high school and college, and I took all Spanish. And all I can do in Spanish now is I can like count to 10. And I was just in Mexico, and all I would say to everybody is "Hola, hola, cómo estás?" That's all I know after 6 years. So that's the base we're starting from. Okay, Surabaya. All right. Yeah, it's the Baja California. That's what I'm thinking of, Stanley. You got it. You get it. Okay, so these torpedo bombers, what was my major point here? Until the Japanese get really close, or, well, back up. Until the Japanese start damaging our runway here, I'm going to keep some torpedo bombers here. The reason being is they're set on naval attack. That one is. That one is. If they try to land a task force at Mersing, and even, I guess if we went extended, what's their extended? Oh, it's only 5. Yeah, I wish it was a little better than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see it there. That's the extended range. I didn't really need to count it. Okay, so if they try to land in Kwanton, I'm not really sure why they would do that, but if they did, or Mersing, we've got some torpedo bombers up. We've got these fighters running escort for them. We could maybe pick off a transport or something. So anyway, that's why I'm keeping around. We have these Australian, yeah, the Wildebeest 3 torpedo bombers here. They're also in 224 group. Same idea. They're on naval attack, so it's all commander discretion. You know, they're going to attack something if they think it's a good target. Here's some more Buffaloes. This time they're British. All right, they're running 50. You'll see I've got everybody running 50% cap. I'm trying to keep the fatigue to somewhat manageable levels. I mean, 13, it's not terrible. Some Kiwis are here. They're hanging out with 224 Group RAF. They chafe under the British command. I don't know. Do they? All right, this is good. There's 15 of them. They're running a 50 cap. We've got some level bombers here. We're doing ASW with them. I think probably next turn, maybe. In the next few turns, we'll get them out of here. You know, at some point, having bombers at places like this doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, it's one thing when they're torpedo bombers. These level bombers running ASW, kind of a cost benefit. I don't know. It's 6 planes. It's not the end of the world, but we'll probably get it out of here. There's another torpedo bomber here. Swordfishes, 8 of them. The British Swordfish. Okay, that's on naval attack as well. So, I mean, we've got a lot of torpedo bombing here. If somebody wants to come try to bring a surface task force up this way, I guess there's an off chance maybe it would, you know, launch or drop a torpedo and try to hit a submarine, but it's really for surface task forces. I need that coffee, guys. I need it today. All right, what ships do we have here? We have an HDML here. It's got great anti-sub. It's only worth 1 point. Question whether we should maybe get it out of here, but I don't want to quite yet. But I do want to put, I don't know why I don't have this on patrol zone. Oh, it's meeting a task force. Oh, you know what? I remember now. We sent this over here to get with the transport, did we not? I think we did. To give it anti-sub. Yes, that is exactly what we did. So even though it's kind of playing fast and loose a little bit, it's a harbor defense, we're going to put it here just with this transport so it gets a little bit of anti-sub, at least ferry it out a hex or two. So let's, oh, I can't do that. That's right. Sometimes those rules grab up and, reach up and grab you. You can't put an HTML in a task force like that. They're not allowed. I'd forgotten that. Okay. Let's take it off this then. Whoops, why did I do that? Get back down here. Let's take it, come on, man. Let's take it off here. Cancel meeting, because that's why it didn't merge. We had it set to merge, and that's why it didn't, because you can't put an HTML in there. User error, user error. Let's set our patrol zone, and let's just go back and forth to like this hex, just back and forth. So if they do try to get a little sub up in here or something, um, you know, it's a little anti-sub. It's a 1-point ship. They are good. They're great at anti-submarine work, but they don't have much endurance, so they're going to be right by the harbor. That's why harbor is the first name in their name. Uh, do, 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 do. Stanley says, guess the game doesn't cover what happened to most of the Indian troops getting trapped. Yeah, I don't think they'll turn into Japanese army, Stanley. I've never seen that. P. Warner says none carry torpedoes at an extended range. Man, you guys are right. That is exactly correct. Now, what's been brought up in the comments, and this is why I have the best commenters in the business, is that if you're going out to extended range, generally they will not load out torpedoes. And so you've got to keep them at normal range. That's a great point. Thank you for noticing that. That had kind of slipped my mind. Yeah, that's absolutely true, and it's a great point. This is on normal. Okay, thank you guys. So keep that in mind. We should add that to the basic tutorial. Let's see. What about this transport? What are we going to do with it? Well, we want to load up the 224, I think. We want to get one of these RAFs moving down, probably to Batavia, I would guess. That's probably where I'll go put it. It's already in strategic. Well, I put Darwin. Maybe we'll hop it down there. We'll see about that. So let's dock it. Let's start loading troops. And what else could we possibly take if we wanted to? Now, as you see, 3 Indian Corps is not locked to Malaya. So anything that's Malayan Army, of course, is pretty much, generally always going to be locked, and very few of those you can even buy out. But 3 Indian Corps is a free agent, so 3 Indian Corps can go out of here. But I think we're just right now, anyway, going to put the 224 Group RAF on here. I'm going to wait. Here's why I'm going to wait. The minute those troops get on there, they're sitting ducks on the transport. And what I want to do is I do think I want to take one of the Australian units just to appease. I've got such a great group of Australian followers and subs that I'm going to appease my Australian my friends and get one of the Australian units out. Are we? Should we? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. The game's fun, and I don't want these Australians to die out here. Let's get them on a transport. We'll put their objective down here at Darwin as well, I guess. We'll start there. We're going to put them in 1st Australian Corps, just like everything else we want to get off of Australia. But we're actually going to go put them in Australia if we can. But we're going to march them over there. I guess I could rail them, but that's a real question of by the time they pack and unpack, it's probably going to take longer if we just march this distance. So let's put them in move mode, which does leave them a little open to some bombing or sustaining more damage if they get bombed, but that's okay. Let's move them down there. We're going to do it. I've got to get Stanley off my back. So anyway, we'll move them down there. 224, that'll go on whenever they get there. I don't want to put them on the transports because they're a lot better protected sitting in the walls of Singapore than they are sitting on a transport in the port. If that was to get bombed, if that was to get sunk by a sub getting up in here, you'd lose it all. So it doesn't make any sense to put it on there now. We looked at all the rest of these. That's all fine. That's all fine and dandy. They're all supposed to be here. Let's just really quickly, I'm going to flip through here and make sure we have them set all to Singapore. We should, but we did rail some things down here, so I guess it's possible that we didn't. Christmas Island, number 10. No, IO, Indian Ocean. Okay, well, here's another one that we wanted to get out of here eventually. If we don't have another third unit and we have room, we may take that with us. Singapore. Hold on, is there a buyout? No, it's 3rd Indian Corps. Perfect. Okay. Singapore. Darwin. Singapore. Okay, that all looks good. We'll get the Australians down here, load them up. Don't let me forget about that, by the way, Stanley. In a couple of turns, say don't forget about those Australians there. We looked through all of this. I did want to look at Billiton here really quickly. You know, we're supposed to be setting up one of these float plane bases. In my experience, that's easier said than actually getting an operational float plane base going out of here, but we're going to try. Let's go over here really fast. We'll go through Borneo. Let's do that, and then when I come back tomorrow, we'll go through Java, and that's all I'm going to promise, because I want to under-promise and over-deliver for one of these, instead of saying, yeah, we're probably going to go over the whole map in 45 minutes. We've just got the base force here. At one time, we were trying to get this out of here. I'm pretty sure the transport task force got knocked back a couple of times. It sensed danger and got out. Danger, Will Robinson. We still have a few fighters up here at Singkawang, 4 and 1 that's damaged. They do have a kill. Nice job, gents. Yeah, it's fine, Cap. That's all fine. You don't want just the free bombing. These units are out here just doing naval search, looking around, seeing what they see. They've got a nice long range, and so they can, you know, kind of tell us what's coming, what's going. This task force almost certainly headed to one of these 2 locations. I guess it could cut back to the east and go to Jesselton. I'm expecting it actually to land at Miri. Just having played the game a few times, Miri is a very popular place. We do have mines here. Hopefully they don't all degrade before that task force gets here, because I don't think, well, as a matter of fact, I know we don't have a mine tender here. How many mines do we have here? 142 mines. Maybe we'll blow up a ship. That would be kind of fun. We have submarine activity kind of swarming to that. We also have this big force. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, no, I'm not going to go out on that limb quite yet. I was thinking that might be the main Japanese task force. They should be moving down this way, but I think they may have bombed the Philippines on the way by if that was them. This has got a cruiser. It's got some APs. I mean, this is all fog of war, right? I mean, we don't know exactly what they've got, but this is what we're being told. They've got some transport ships, so they could either be landing at Mersing. They could be heading south to Jesselton, maybe even over here, Singkawang, Kuching. Let's look at Kuching really quickly. We've got one fighter, literally one fighter. I was going to say one fighter squadron, but it's literally one fighter. Yes, P. Warner, that's the ultimate degrading, right? The ultimate degradation is when they explode into the side of a Japanese ship. David, I have not looked at the intel. I have not looked at the intel of what this may be. I should go do that. And I probably, maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Um, oh yes, back to Kuching. So we've got one whole plane here. I think we transferred these out. Is it part of something? Yes. And if you ever have a question of whether this is a remnant that was left behind, you'll see these slashes up here of, it's a part of a squad of a, so you'll see slashes up here generally, and that can tell you, instead of having to go, hunt for the 453rd Squadron, you can kind of look at this and say, okay, if this repairs, it's going to go find its squadron, or at least that's how it should work. We've got the big guns at Kuching. How big are they actually? Not that big. Not that big. They may do a little damage to transports and stuff like that. They're nothing like the guns of Tarakan. Okay, we look there. Yep, we look there. We still have this unit over here. I say this unit. There's also a base force over here. It's got 17 assault value. I mean, I, I guess maybe it's better used at Balikpapan or Tarakan. Um, I'm going to leave it there for now. It just, there's a lot of open space here. What are the chances of the Japanese sailing an invasion task force down here, landing in a swamp and marching, what is that, 250 miles across what appears to be mountains? It's probably not good, but I guess it could happen. Uh, Balikpapan. We've got these float planes. What are they doing? They're doing naval search. Okay, they're doing it out over kind of some of the smaller islands out here, just kind of covering that area. We also have 4 B339Ds that are flying cap, as they should. That's all good. That's fine. We want to have a little cap over Balikpapan, just a little. It's not the end of the world. What do we have here? We've got a tanker, the British motorist. It got let in here by the Deloraine. Is that, what's the Deloraine's? Oh yeah, it's got really poor fuel, or very poor endurance. This is now fully loaded, so we can undock it, and get it on its way. Let's go. Great. Okay, so that's a lot. I mean, 9,430 capacity. That's not bad. We're going to Darwin. How are we getting there? I guess that's okay for now. I don't think that's in any danger. I have back over here been taking them through the strait and down because I just think that's safer for a whole lot of reasons. But I don't think it makes a lot of sense to take this, here all the way here. It would probably run into more subs and stuff this way, honestly. So I think that makes sense. That'll go down to Darwin. We've got an AO here, which is essentially almost worthless. I mean, it doesn't have a whole lot, right? This came out of Jalo. I just kind of moved it over here. It's not doing anything. I'm just going to leave it alone. Local minesweeper, fuel, Cagayan. All right. So these are smaller transports. These are smaller cargo, dry cargo ships. We're going to load them up with some fuel, some liquid, 1,700 capacity, and get, well, it'll be half of that, but get that over to, oh, I see. We had run this into Cagayan. So Cagayan up here, right? Yep, that's Cagayan. We had run that up there to get some fuel in there. And you can see we've got 1,800. That's not bad for, kind of a small base. Do we dare do that again? I mean, the Japanese are right there. What are we talking about here? 2 points. 2 points. I've got the PC on the front. That's 2 points. It's a 6-point task force. All right, let's dock. We'll actually load it with supply. We'll change this to cargo Cagayan. Okay. And let's get that up here. Just try to get a little supply in here because usually these guys run out of supply, and that's really what eventually does them in. that works for me. That's fine. All right, so there's that. We do have one ship in port. What is it? It's this tender ship. It's just an auxiliary ship. Let's get that out of here. We don't need it here. Support the Gemma. And we'll just send it down here to Surabaya. Surabaya? Gosh, dang it. Yeah, let's put that there. Okay, that gets that out of there. There's just not a reason to really have it here. Not sure what it's, tendering. Let's put it that way. We've got a 14 assault strength. That's not a whole lot sitting here for a very important place. Although we have drained it of a lot of fuel, it's only got 10,000 left. We had a lot of tankers in here. Now, what got injured? I just can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, it was the Canopus. This is a submarine tender, the Canopus. This took some damage. It's now being escorted down to Darwin. It's got 77 float damage. We'll see if it can make it. I think it can. Yeah, Guns of Tarakan. I wax poetically about them because I've had so many games where those guns have just ripped apart Japanese transports. I don't know what the deal. I don't honestly. Sometimes I think it's almost a bug of the game that those guns at Tarakan are so powerful. But I've had it just wrecking entire Japanese task forces before. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So as like the bards of old, I sing of the guns of Tarakan. Um, John Saxon, hello. I'm sorry, I just flipped over to this other chat. Uh, how much damage will they do to the Japanese if they stand and fight in Singapore? Well, in some respects, it's not even about the damage. I mean, of course it is, that's 1A or 1B, but it's really just trying to hold up the Japanese as long as you can. If you evacuate all of Malaya to the extent you can, to the extent you have political points to do so, if you do that, the Japanese just get to Singapore way too fast, and Singapore becomes their base of operations for their entire Western theater, right? So right now they have a logistical problem. As you see all of their ships coming through here, but they have a logistical problem, right? Their home island is here, not all, but most of their production's up here. Now, of course, they do have some in China, but it's not enough to support their armies out here in Malaya. Not really. I mean, they have some in Thailand, they have some stuff, but it's not enough to support what you're going to need to keep moving south here. And so they need a real logistical hub center, and that's Singapore. It becomes their Western front. It's almost like if you think of maybe the British or the Allies in Europe, they had the Mediterranean and they needed a hub in the Mediterranean and also a hub up in Northern Europe because those two places are kind of so far apart that it's hard to run logistics out of one place and be running it up through Italy, let's say. And so same idea here. The Japanese need that logistical hub. That logistical hub will be Singapore. They can bring limitless planes into Singapore. They can park all the task forces they want here. They can refuel ships. They can do all that stuff. And so you want to hold them off of Singapore as long as you can. Of course, that means, I guess, doing as much damage as you can. You can bloody their nose. You can hold out here. Sometimes you can hold out long enough that your problem really becomes supply and your forces start to degrade because they're just not getting enough supply. And so that's the idea behind, putting up kind of a fortress Singapore anyway. The grand strategic vision. Arthur, what's going on? How are you? What's the story? Yeah, War in the East 2 does look a lot different, Arthur. It does. It's pretty. It's very pretty. If you haven't been watching my War in the East series, you may want to tune in today. Big things are afoot. We're at turn 7 and we're 100 kilometers outside of Moscow. Well, maybe not 100. Maybe it's 150. But we're getting there. We're getting there. That's actually going to be, if things progress as they're progressing now, would be one of my earlier victories, I think, ever in War in the East. It's a lot of things have worked out really well in that one. Anyway, back to the task at hand. Why do I have this task force up? Where is this task force? Why am I on? Oh, yeah, the Canopus. So that's going down to Darwin. And that is not a transport. It's showing it like it would be amphibious almost as a support ship. It's getting escorted, and you'll see these little E's right there. That means escort. You don't actually see the ships themselves or the detail, but the idea is there's some kind of tug, maybe, or a repair, a smaller repair that's helping it get there. So, escorting it down. We've got a mine layer here. Oh yeah, we sent that up to Tarkin. It does have mines, you can tell because of the little, you can always tell if your mine layers have mines because it'll have that little symbol up there, and you can tell if your ports do as well because that little symbol. I mentioned that last time, but it's actually an important point, and I don't even know if I put that in the basic tutorials. One of these days I'm going to go back and update those and like streamline them even more, just for the top crust of the top 80% of information instead of trying to get the full 100%. But there are a couple of things as we go along that I wish I would have put in there. Overall, I'm very proud of those, but though there are a few things that I would want to tweak. Of course, right? You do a project that big, there are going to be some things you want to change. So eventually, one of these days, I'll update those a little bit. Okay, what do we have over here in Samarinda? Samarinda, we have a holding force 11, just to kind of hold this base so the Japanese don't come here, get a base, and then attack Balikpapan. Not that important. I mean, if they're coming here, they're going to overrun us no matter whether we have a holding force or not. Now we have this Japanese task force off the coast of Tarakan. So those guns of Tarakan may start blazing this turn, my friends. This is that strange task force that just kind of floated through the Sulu Sea. For some reason, our commanders have not attacked it. That may be my fault. I should have maybe upped their reaction, but I had it on 3. They were within 3. It was sighted. I'm not sure how it floated all the way through here. I do believe we sank maybe 1 or 2 of the ships at one point. I just can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, okay. We've got the Houston, the Boise, the Thanet out here. What's the Houston's deal? 282 on the air. Boise goes 282. Wow, that's a nice light cruiser. It matches the heavy cruiser for anti-air. The Thanet has a 2 anti-sub. Okay, so they had reacted, I thought, to this task force. I'm not sure why they're still floating around over here. Did I put them up? Oh, you know why they're doing that? Because I told them to. I shouldn't argue with the computer. I'm like, why did you send them there? And it's asking me the same question. Okay, I'm not, these are high value ships. This whole Jalo idea, I think it was fine as long as we had things coming down from Hong Kong that may have to stop here. I'm actually going to get these ships out of here. What do you think about that? How about that for a big decision? Let's send them down to Townsville. Make sure we can get there. Okay, the Thanet will get fuel from the other 2 as we go along. Now, what's the route? I'm not sure I love that route. I think I'd rather come down this way. I think that's the better idea. So let's do some waypoints. Waypoint 1. Here. That should do it, right? I think so. Yeah, that changes the whole course. We fly around Celebes, and wow, what a journey! What a journey! I bet a hell of a sightseeing journey if you weren't getting shot at, or maybe that just ups the adrenaline level. Okay, so we're getting them out of there. I see no reason to have high-value ships like this in a place that the Japanese are going to take shortly. I mean, that's 35 points. The Boise is 40. The Boise is actually a better ship than the Houston. The Thanet's only a 5. But still, I mean, I don't know this whole. We have other stuff here at Jalo. Let's look at it really quickly. I think, okay, we had the John D. Ford and 2 submarine tenders. You know what? We're going to get these guys out of here too. Um, Wait a minute. Had I already done that? Oh, I did. Okay. Well, I had already thought of that. Let's see. We're going to send them down to Dutch held territory there. We've got the Pillsbury here. Air Transport Princessa, right? This was at Port of Princessa. I think it got backed off. Then we have an AVP here, the Heron, to support Jalo. We'll probably get that out as well. But I think I'm going to call that an episode. We did a little bonus content today because of that damn live stream stuff. Spectrum. Anyway, thank you guys so much for dropping by. What a great group of commenters I've got. The